Hey guys, Aryn Savard coming at you in the Soul Goal Sisterhood. Just wanted to pop on and lead a little bit of a video today on a few inspirations that came my way, and then one thought too that I was kind of been ruminating on for the last week. So two things came out of conversations today. And when you guys are on, please feel free at any point in time to respond or to ask questions. Also, if there's anything that you want me to elaborate on, please don't hesitate to pop that in the comments there. So the first topic that I have listed is the concept of simple versus easy. And I think all too often, especially when frustrating things are happening in our lives, we get the two things confused. So the first thing I did is I sat down and I looked up the definitions of each one, because they're words that I use a lot in certain contexts and I was working with them okay, but I thought let's actually dive in and have a look at this. So simple means not compound. It means of a single element or not elaborate or artificial. So simple to me means it's just not a big thing. It's fairly focused, it's fairly clear. I also want to go back and say that simple is of a single element, or also I want to say of a single voice, because sometimes when we're navigating things in our life, there's just too many voices happening, and we need to make it more simple and just have one voice that we're listening to. So easy, on the other hand, easy is defined as not hard or difficult. It's defined as free from pain or discomfort. So sometimes we're saying that I just want my life to be more simple. And really we mean, I want it to be easy. Or why can't things just be easy? And in reality, we mean, why can't they just be more simple and more clear? So I wanted to talk about these two topics which will lead me then into the next topic of dealing with the shit piles in life. I firmly believe that our jobs here on earth and in these lives is not to be easy. I don't think that we're meant to be here and just have this easy path. We can just roll along without pain or discomfort, and that everything is just gonna come to us so naturally. Nothing is gonna be hard. Nothing is gonna be difficult. I don't think that's the way it is. And I think sometimes we also confuse our joy and happiness with easy, because we feel like we should just be joyful and happy all the time. And in reality, in our human experience, that just can't happen, because we're going to experience all kinds of emotions. So what I look for in my life is for things to become simple, i.e. more clear, more defined, to get rid of all the superfluous things, all the extra things, all the compounding things, and make them very simple. And when I can get things to be simple in my life, I don't mind doing the hard work that's behind them, because my pathway is very clear, my focus is very clear. And then coming back to the concept of a singular voice, that could be like your connection with God, it could be your connection with your inner soul, it could be higher self, it could be your purpose, whatever you want to call that. It should be a singular voice. And sometimes what happens is we start evaluating so many things around us. We start evaluating the opinion of someone else. We start evaluating the fear of, what if I don't do this, or what if I do this? We evaluate the opinion of our parents. We start evaluating whether or not somebody is going to like us if we make this choice or go through this path. And then things get really, really noisy and complicated. And so in those moments, I highly suggest that we ask for things to become simple again, that we find ways to quiet all of that outside noise so that we can hear our own voice again, and we can hear what it is that we want and where we want to be going. Because I do firmly believe that if we follow that direction, which I personally believe is divinely guided, that it's going to allow us to be more effective everywhere that we are. It's going to allow us to connect in relationships the way that we need to. It's going to allow us to do the work that we need to and bring really good things into this world. So I ask for simple in my life, not easy, because when it's simple and it's very clear, I can do the work because I know where I'm going. When it's not simple, then things just feel really hard all the time. And then you get frustrated because you don't know where you're going. You're working and you're working and you're working, and it's hard and everything's difficult, but you don't know where you're going. And that's where we start to get frustrated. And that's where we say, you know, oh, my whole life is just shit and everything is happening to me. And why do I keep, you know, trying to do good things and I have all these things bad happening to me and my life just sucks right now and life is just hard and difficult. Which leads me to the next thought process, which is, I just said this to a friend today. We were chatting back and forth and I just said, there's always shit in life, always. It's just gonna be there. And so the trick is to be sure to find the grass between the shit piles. So when life is shit and you're standing in it and it stinks and it's uncomfortable, you don't actually have to continue standing there. You can just kind of start shuffling your feet in the grass and doing that weird wiggle where you like internally rotate the knee and drag your shoe across the grass trying to get all the stuff, and then you find a stick, right? You find a stick and you try and dig it out of all the grooves in your shoe. And then things don't stink quite so much. And then you're like, oh, okay, well, this is not so bad. You can see all the shit piles around you because they don't go away. You can see them all. You just don't have to stand in all of them all the time. I love it. You know what? I'm going to make a little meme of it. I'm going to make a little meme, so I'll post it in the group when I'm done. But yeah, you've got to find the grass between the shit piles. They aren't going to go away. And I think that's another misconception that we have, is that if we get clear and we're doing good work and we're being good people, then the shit's just going to disappear. Life is going to get easy. And it just doesn't. And the more I start to recognize this, the more I come to terms with the fact that I'm going to be in shit piles sometimes. And then I just need to remember to step in the grass sometimes. And then look at all the shit piles and go, I'm really glad I'm not standing in that right now. Because eventually you're going to be tootling along, doing your thing in the grass and everything's amazing. And you're seeing the flowers and the baby sheep and all of a sudden, and you're in another shit pile again. And rather than standing in it and continuing to talk about how shitty everything is, you just go, man, this really sucks. This is really hard right now. So now I'm just going to move back into the grass or make my way to the grass. There's still a trail of shit following you until you get it all off. And then eventually it's all off and you break through and then you can kind of run in the grass again. So that analogy really just kind of pulled together for me today. And I was just like, yeah, that's what it is. That's totally what it is. So hopefully that helps you guys. And like I said, I'm going to make a little meme of that and feel free to use it as you guys wish, because it kind of created some clarity for me. The last thing I want to talk about is how to deal with our valleys when we're watching everybody else's peaks. And this goes right along with the shit pile. So, you know, when you're standing in the shit pile, let's call that a valley, right? It's not like your most stellar moment in life. And then let's call the peaks the grass, right? It's like you're standing in the shit pile and, oh, hey, Tina. You're standing in the shit pile and you're looking at somebody else's peak, and their peak looks freaking magnificent. And you're looking at the view that they might have, and you're knowing that they don't smell like shit because they're up there. There's no animals shitting up there, and there's like shit free at that peak. And you're like, it's sunshine and the fresh air up there. And so the first thing that happens is we start to like covet this desire to be in the peak, which is totally natural, because when you're somewhere that's really uncomfortable and you don't like it, who wants to be there? Especially when you can see that there's something else possible. So the first thing I think is just to like check into that moment and kind of go, okay, I'm getting triggered by this other person's peak. Where am I in my life right now? Quite often we're in one of those valleys. And what I recommend is recognizing that you are in two totally different paths most of the time. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of story to hopefully tie this all in, and then I'll bring it back around. But take, for example, today. Do you see this like, I don't know, gift wrapping bow thing that's on my head? And I have no makeup on, and I have my dog walking sweatshirt, which actually I'm going to do a little promo for right now. You see this? This is Rickleberry's Dolphin Project sweatshirt. It's one of my favorite sweatshirts, but it's not like super classy business gear. So I wear it a lot. I just don't wear it like out to my businessy things. But I totally believe in what they do. So bringing it back to the story. I got really caught up when I was looking at information on building live videos and building content for your groups and stuff like that, because almost everybody that was putting information out was saying that in order to make it great, you want to make sure that, you know, you're always like nice and tidy, and that you look businessy, and that there's the same background all the time, and that you have everything planned out, and you know, all that sort of stuff. And so I started to get really caught up in that. And I was like, oh, I need to do these things because that's what the people do that do these, and they're really successful, and this is great. And so the problem with that though is I got so caught up in making the scenario perfect that I lost all of my creativity. And then I started to go, okay, all of these people that I'm looking at that are having these successful online businesses and coaching programs and all of this, they're doing their things a certain way. And it has created success for them, which is awesome. There have been lots of little tidbits that I've picked up along the way. But then I had to go, and I was totally caught up in it, guys. Like, I was in a valley. I was like, I can't do this anymore. And what am I doing? And who do I think I am? Look at all these, like, all these crazy professional people that are just rocking it. And they're like booking all these speaking gigs. And then here I am. I'm like, I'm with my gift wrapping bow on my head and my dog walking sweatshirt and no makeup. And I'm like, I can't catch up. I can't do the things. And so it was just this big whirlwind. And the challenge that was happening is one of two things. One, I was in a valley because I was feeling uncreative and uninspired. And then I was looking at their peaks. I was looking at them putting out all of their polished material. And they didn't talk about all of the outtakes. They didn't talk about all of the organic things. I would have been too, plaster on the makeup and push-up bra, right, Anita? I know, she's like, I would have been too, plaster on the makeup and the push-up bra. Which, by the way, girl, I like quit doing bras a long time ago. So, you know, I will never be wearing a bra. I wear like little ridiculous, like, I don't know, camisoles that like 8-year-olds wear. Anyway, so what I found is, okay, that's cool. That works for them. That makes them feel empowered and excited about what they're doing, and that has brought them success. So then I started thinking, what is it that has brought me a bit of success in terms of delivering content to you guys and developing the sisterhood that we have happening right now? And I thought, you know what? It's that I'm incredibly organic. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I hope that I always come across as being very authentic. And when I'm speaking, that you guys feel like it's really organic, that it's inspired and that it's in the moment, and that you guys are getting something that's fresh and not, how do I say, not formulated, right? And then I thought, you know what? I think that's where my thing is. And so, oh, thank you, Tina. Thanks for the thumbs up, guys, too. So I'm like, okay, that's where my gold is. It's not in wearing makeup. It's not in having the exact same background behind me all the time and making sure it's perfect. It's not in making sure that nothing interrupts my videos. You guys all know my dogs interrupt all the time. So then I was like, okay, so I'm comparing my valley of not feeling super awesome to their peak of them rocking whatever it is that they do. So then I was like, oh, okay, cool. So rather than get caught up in their peak, I'm like, that's their peak. That's where they want to be going. And that's awesome. But that's not what my peak looks like. My peak looks like something, you know, super, again, very organic. Like I probably walked up it barefoot. I show up in like shorts and like blackberry rips on my legs and no makeup and my hair a mess, and I show up with happy dogs and an incredible child and a husband who is like super grounded. That's what my peak looks like. So then I start going, how am I doing my stuff so that I get to that peak? Because that was the other thing. Okay, I'm gonna read Jeanette. Yes, like having a pajama and wine soul session with girlfriends that can relate and support without judgment. Yes, okay, good, thank you. This is fantastic. You guys never have to listen to me with your makeup, by the way. I would love to have it so I could see all of your beautiful faces while you're looking at me. But guys, seriously, show up however you want to show up for all the things. So the other thing that was happening is I was comparing my life and my journey also with someone else's completely different life. So some of these women don't have kids. Some of them are totally solo. Some of them are single moms. Some of them do have kids and they're married. And then I started getting back to, again, my soul gold. So those of you guys that did the Ignite workshop with me a while back, you know that one of the things we talked about is what are my top 3? And I mean, like, what are my top 3 things in life that are non-negotiable? I will not give these up. I'm going to shape my life around these. And the first one was my relationship with my son and my husband. Those 2 things, pardon me, are of the utmost priority. And so that means not even my business is allowed to take away from that relationship. So in the past little while, my kid plays rep hockey and we've been gone a lot. And that's on top of running my studio business and then trying to keep up with all of this stuff. And then I started to feel like really guilty about not putting more stuff out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, people are going to forget about it and I'm going to lose all my momentum and all of this. And I was like, yeah, but what's my thing? My thing is that my husband and my kiddo come first. And I was like, okay, so I've done that. I've invested in them, which is awesome. Everything else will have to wait. And then, so once I brought it back to my main thing, I was like, oh, this is fine. And if this is what I'm committed to, and this is what my peak looks like, there will be time for other things. It's just not right now. And then that gave me a little bit more patience and breathing room to look at their peak and go, cool, I'm not supposed to be on my peak right now. I'm supposed to be in this part or this section, this little rest stop on my peak. And as long as I stay on my peak, it doesn't matter where I am on that peak. I can just keep plugging away, right? As long as I'm not moving up somebody else's peak, I'm good. And so then I was like, oh, okay, I get it. So then the last thing I want to do is I just kind of want to give you guys hopefully some tools to deal with that in that moment, because let's face it, in reality, we're human and we're going to get jealous and we're going to get upset and we're going to get frustrated and we're going to feel guilty and we're going to do all of these things. So rather than just give you the analogy and everybody, like, I feel like everybody already knows this, right? It's just maybe the picture is painted a little bit differently for you. So maybe there's a few things that I can give you as like tools that you guys can use to get out of your valley. So when you're in the shit pile and you feel like you can't find the grass, what always helps me is a different perspective. So rather than stomping around in my shit pile, meaning like I'm behind in all my work, I'm having anxiety about it, I can't get anything done, I keep self-sabotaging stuff because I'm in this thought process, the first thing I usually look to do is change my perspective. Sometimes it's hard because you have to give yourself permission to stop the insanity. Stilts. Yes, totally, Sorrel. She's like, stilts. Yep, I love it. Stilts. Stilts will raise you out of the shit so you can see beyond the shit pile. So perspective is exactly what I'm talking about. So changing my perspective. So sometimes what I do is give myself permission to stop working. Okay? To stop looking after the kids, to stop walking the dogs, to stop doing the things that are in this cycle for a period of time. It doesn't mean I can totally go bonkers. And I just watched the movie Bad Moms, which by the way, I find totally enlightening and hilarious. But that's what happened is one of the bad moms went off the deep end. She was like so restricted and not course correcting. And she went off the deep end and then brought it back at the end. But we don't want to go off the deep end and like completely shrug all of the stuff that we need to participate in life. But give yourself permission to remove yourself from it for a period of time. So whether that means you go for a walk outside, whether that means you read a book, whether that means you go connect with a friend, whatever it is, give yourself a period of time where you can disconnect from the insanity. Because oftentimes that's all we need to realize the noise that's happening, and all of a sudden the noise gets quiet, and then we can find our simple again, right? Because it gets really complicated because of all of the noise and all of the feelings and all of the thoughts and the stories we're telling ourselves. And sometimes we need to remove ourselves and get a different perspective. Sometimes it's a different friend. So I have lots of different acquaintances in my life. And what I'm finding now is I have certain friends that I connect with about certain things. And almost always it has to do with the fact that they've already walked through that in their life, or they are walking through it right now. And so it makes their experience very relevant to be able to support me in that. And not everybody can do all the things. Not one friend can support all of the parts of me. And so if I'm connecting with some friends and I'm not feeling like that's getting me out of the loop, then I'm going to connect with a different friend and see if their connection or their perspective is going to be able to help me kind of create the shift that I need. And then the last thing is distance. So when I got caught up in all of that stuff with my social media and videos and stuff, I quit looking for a period of time. And part of me was like, but what if they say something amazing and I miss out? But I had to get over that, right? And I just quit following them for a little bit. I quit watching what they were doing. I quit trying to do all the things that they were teaching. And I just went, I'm just going to be me for just a little bit. And I'm going to see where I'm at. And thankfully I was blessed with a weekend. My boys went away for a hockey tournament and I allowed myself to not work for 2 days. And I created distance. I didn't watch all that stuff. I didn't try to apply it. I didn't take notes on it. I just let myself be and do whatever it was that I wanted to do. And oh my gosh, you guys, did things ever get clear and become way more simple and light. And that is what distance and sometimes unplugging does for us, which I think is amazing. And then the last thing sometimes is to ask yourself, so when we're admiring other people's peaks, is what she has even what I want? Because sometimes we're just feeling shitty, right? And it's just something that somebody's doing and it looks like they're doing it amazing. And you're like, that, I want to do that. Why am I not there? So first of all, ask that. Do you even want that? And then the second piece is, do you want what that person is doing to get there? So it may be what you want, but is the way they're going about it the way that you want to go about it and that's healthy and creative and supportive for you? Because oftentimes the answer is no, because it's their journey to that path, right? And you're going to have your own journey to it. So there's always little tidbits to learn. Just don't jump on the train right away, right? Because that's their train. And either jump on the train and get off at the right stop, or observe the train going by and kind of go, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I never thought about connecting the cars like that. That's cool. Okay. Or get on for a little bit, be on the train, and then go, I'm good. This is starting to turn in a direction I don't want to go in, so I'm going to get off at the next stop. So this constant just kind of like, where am I? What am I doing? Where am I going? And why am I doing it? And hopefully, guys, that has helped you, or you can use that in some ways to navigate some tough things in life. So thank you for logging in. And those of you guys that are watching the replay, please feel free again to go in and type any questions or notes. I almost always go back throughout the 24 hours following, and I try and hop on there and respond as quick as I can. So love you guys so much. I said this to my friend that we were texting to. I'm like sending life mojo out to you guys. Like love is love and love is awesome. And I will always love you guys, but I'm just going to send some extra life mojo. Cause sometimes that's what we need. Like we know we're loved. And we just need like some extra gas, some extra unicorn glitter, like whatever it is. So that's what I'm going to blow at you guys. Okay. So take it as you will. And I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your week. Bye.